Mantras on stones. Tibetans' infusion of Buddhism into their life, into their culture is very, very deep-rooted, deep-seated, and for hundreds of years. So every part of their life is permeated with one sort of Buddhism to another. From the lowest, uneducated peasant, who is very simple and who doesn't know much, to the highest of the aristocrats and the government ministers, to even higher, the highest of the high, the lamas and the teachers and the masters, and everything in between. Some part of their life, whether they know it or not, will be permeated with some type of Dharma. So carving beautiful objects for people to see, is a very great way of making merit. So Tibet is filled with a spectacular landscape of mountains and caves and precipices and cliffs. And when people go by, they have to travel by all the time in caravans or on their trading or whatever, and they see these cliffs. So the best thing that came about is a lot of these people who don't have resources. They don't have money to build big temples, because a lot of people in Tibet are poor. They don't have money to get artisans to make statues and chapels and cathedrals and beautiful little prayer chapels along the road. They don't have that. So what they did is, and plus the weather is very harsh, and who can hang out there to maintain the chapel and clean it and wash it and bring offerings up? You have to walk for miles, to get water. So a very practical way to still do something like a chapel along the road, a grotto, a prayer place, to remind people of the holy and to bless travelers so that people can pray and see something divine and be blessed, is they carved beautiful images of the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, and the saints all along the cliffs, all along the mountains. So when you go to Tibet, everywhere you will see beautiful images of different Buddhas, Lama Tsongkhapa, and all that, carved all over the stones and rocks. Why? Because people are bored? No. A, they're very poor. Trust me, even if I was bored, you wouldn't see me carving anything on the side of a cliff. Like I said, video and aircon. All right, that's it. I'm very happy. So what happens is they will carve on the cliffs, and it will take them years to do. It is an offering to the people who go by, so that everybody who walks by can see a Tsongkhapa or Avalokiteshvara or Tara or Kuan Yin. A. B. They feel it's a protection for that whole valley that is weather-proof. Isn't that fabulous? So imagine if you carve a huge Lama Tsongkhapa overlooking a whole village somewhere on a cliff, and everybody in the village can see it. It's a blessing, it's a protection. And sometimes to pacify certain types of ferocious spirits and deities that reside in that area, because Tibet is very old and ancient, it's huge. It's huge. Almost the size of Australia. Mountainous and very old and permeated with many different types of mountain spirits and deities. And so lots of wars have carried out there. Lots of people have died violently. And so some of these images are carved to appease, pacify, and control the ferocious spirits around that area. Just like that, in modern day now, if we have a garden, if we have a big yard, and we feel uncomfortable or something like that, we usually put with respect, a Buddha outside. We'll put a beautiful Buddha in the garden to bless the environment, to bless the area, to bless the neighborhood. And that from your house permeates love and blessings and protection for the whole neighborhood. So we'll put little Buddhas there all the time. That's kind of like, it's kind of hard for us to rock carve on our rented house here in Bandar Utama, don't you think? You just do a rock carving outside. They say, you're crazy. You move out after 2 years, you just finished what? And then next guy says, I don't want that, take it out. You know why? Because I'm an atheist. So that's not very practical, is it? So in any case, that's what rock carvings for Buddhas are to put outside. Actually, it's very disrespectful to put Buddha outside. Very disrespectful. But for that purpose, there's a higher purpose. Even the insects will see the holy Buddha images and be blessed. Really. So you have to think like that. And then but don't think you're so kind. You take care of all the insects in front of your yard, but you're not kind to the people that live with you. You're not considerate and you're not nice. So you're kind to insects, but you're not nice to everybody else. That doesn't make sense either. Okay, so these rock carvings of mantras, Om, Ma, Ni, Pe, Me, Hum, example, are very famous. And each syllable is 6, related to the 6 realms of samsara. And each color Each syllable has a different color related to the different parts of samsara, the 6 realms, that mantra purifies. Purifies what? Purifies the actual realms? No. Purifies our karma to go to those particular realms. So when we do the practice of Chenezig, Avalokiteshvara, or in your language, Kuan Yin, and we recite the mantra with meditation, with our commitments and samaya intact, Om Mani Padme Hum well, this mantra purifies the negative karma that we have that can be the causes of us to go to any of the 6 realms of samsara, which means it takes us to enlightenment. So when we carve this mantra on the wall and people walk by and see it, it is in hopes that the animals, the bandits, the people, the travelers, the nomads, the herders, the villagers, who all see this, will plant some form of enlightenment in their mind. And it protects the area, it blesses the environment. It is something that's weatherproof, time-proof, basically, unless the mountain splits. It takes a long time to carve, and for the person carving, the motivation is dharma. No one pays them, No one pays them. There can be rich aristocrats who actually hire artisans to do that, but there's never a talk about pay. The artisans will do it, and because the aristocrats are busy with whatever they're doing, the artisans will do it and carve it, and then they'll go to the sponsor and they'll say it's been done, and the sponsor offers an amount that they feel is worthy. And no, there's never ever a talk about pay for images, ever. That is a tradition. So, because why? You make the sacred profane. You make the sacred not sacred. It becomes just another bartering object. That's why actually here in Malaysia it's a little different, but with Dharma statues, we never bargain. Never ever bargain. But it's become a little different now because the motivation is different. The motivation to bargain now is to bring something back to Malaysia so people here can have something beautiful that doesn't cost so much for them. Right? That's the purpose now. So we have to little bit accommodate situation and time. But in Tibet, you never talk about price. Never. And people who work for the Dharma, people who worked in Dharma institutions, there's a lot of lay people who go to temples to work in Tibet, a lot. They never talk about the price. They never demand, they never ask anything. It's whatever the monks offer them, with 2 hands and a kata, they gracefully receive. Why? Most of our life is overwhelmed with just samsara work. The only time we can do good work for ourselves is Dharma. That's what it really is. That's the motivation. So these things are carved to generate merit. These things are carved to bless the environment. These things are carved in order that people who walk by can get an imprint of Dharma in their minds. And these things are carved also as protection to appease that area. And these are not the only reasons. The last reason that I want to mention is penance. Some people have done a lot of negative karma, have done a lot of negative things. So carving onto stone an image of a Buddha purifies the negative karma of the body. Today's equivalent would be making tatas. These are tatas where people go into retreat. People have done a lot of negative action of the body. Killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. These 3 are very, very heavy of the karma. Very, very heavy. And you don't look exactly just at sexual misconduct, just at killing, just at stealing. That itself is negative karma. But the repercussion that those actions bring to others and oneself is even heavier. So what happens is you make an investment into your own negative karma that goes on and on and on. I'll give you an example. If you can make a Buddha image and donate it to a wonderful temple around here, if that temple lasts 200 years and hundreds and thousands of people in those 200 years have gone there to make offerings to the Buddha and collect merit, part of that goes to you, even if you've gone into your future lives. All Chinese believe that. Similarly, if you commit sexual misconduct or you commit killing, then the damage you have done to the other person. Example, if you break someone's heart and you make them believe that love is not possible, you believe that relationships not possible, and they maybe become a drunk, maybe they become violent, maybe they get revenge, you create the situation for them to kill you, to kill other people, to be bitter, or to do that to other people. And so they do that to other people, they do that to other people, they do that to other people. All the karma that's created from you creating that in their mind will come back to you, even hundreds of years. So when we carve mani stones, or make statues, or make tatsas, or paint statues, or put ornaments on them, or we try to heal people's body, or we massage, or we offer them for body, or they're sick, we try to give them medicines. When we do things to heal other people's body, when we do things to decorate the enlightened beings or create enlightened beings, or when people are sleeping around or cheating, we encourage them and we teach them not to, and we stop. You know what happens? We purify the negativities of our body. The negativities of our body. And it's very powerful. We can do Vajrasattva retreats, Samaya Vajra retreats. Prostration and 35 confessional Buddhas are one of the best retreats we can do to purify our negatives of our body. And when we do those, we don't show people, we don't brag, we don't say. Why? It can become another worldly practice of showing off that I'm holy. Oh, it's very, very powerful. Don't ever underestimate. So making mani stones and making these carvings is a type of penance to purify one's negative body for people who have no other means otherwise. And so when they make mani stones, there are people specifically, if you go to the Swayambhutnath Stupa in Nepal, Kathmandu, we've seen it, some of us have gone with me. When you walk up, you see people selling mani stones or carving them. Why? Carving them is a type of penance, and also carving them is to give blessings to people in the form of mantras or stones. So when you have these beautiful stones, you put them anywhere, it's a blessing. And it's artistic, it looks very beautiful. But the real reason behind it is purification. And in Tibet, there are people, paths are commonly walked. Like if there's a monastery there and there's a village here, and you always have to go past this kind of path. It's very famous. They have a mani wall. What that is a lot of people carve Om Mani Padme Hum, and they stack it there. And then Om Mani Padme Hum. So over the years, you get a huge, like, I don't know, what is this kind of called? Like a mound, a huge mound, but put beautifully. And it's filled with Om Mani Padme Hum stones. It can have Om Tari Tu Tari Tori Soha. It can have, Om Arabhaznandi, any mantra. But it's usually called a mani wall or a mani mound. So what happens is when people walk by, they've done a stone, they put it there. You know why? Those are for people who really can't afford a stupa or something. So it's a one by one, the villagers put that mani stone there. And when villagers walk by, you know what they usually do? They usually walk around the mani stone maybe 3 times, circumambulate, to dedicate the merits for the people who have made this mani stone, and also to purify their negative karma, and then they walk on their way. So the mani carved stones are actually for purification, for yourself and for others. Purified body, speech, and mind, the 3 parts here. Yeah, because you have positive and negative karma of body, speech, and mind. Because your body, speech, and mind needs to become a Buddha. You don't want your speech becoming a Buddha and your body still here, do you? So you're a big mouth on a lotus. You look like David Lai.